What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. It looks like I don't have my audio working for some reason. There was a big Windows update push, and it just is not working right now, so I'm going to have to sort that out later. I am Josh KI6NAZ. Thanks for coming on out. We got some fun plans today. We're going to play around with the Wouxun KG-UV9D Mate. And I'm going to answer some often asked questions about, is this the same thing as all the other radios that they make? And there is quite a few of them in this same kind of model space. And we're going to talk about what I think about it, do a bit of a live review. I've definitely done radio walkthroughs, but never really a live review. So this is going to be kind of a first for me, if you think about it like that. Again, thanks for coming on out. Enjoy the memes as we get started. Ooh, look at that white one. I don't know why that's there. That's odd. Great. CB ham. That's my favorite topping for pizza. All right. Well, no need to belabor it since we got no beautiful music. What's happened to my opening? Thanks, Windows. I updated this thing like hours ago, but I've been fiddling around with it. So anyway, boy, again, thanks everybody for coming out. So many people watching right now. It's amazing. Ham radio is blowing up, and it's just awesome that everybody is finding the hobby such an interesting hobby to get started with. It's a lifelong hobby. It's something you can do for all of your days and have a lot of fun. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Busy week with all the FCC stuff going on. I did post a video on that, so go check that out if you haven't, but it's getting the round, so a lot of people have already maybe seen it. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for checking it out. And thank you for commenting on my hair. Yes, I still can't go get it cut. So you'll just have to experience the fun of my chaos-inducing hair. Look how long it is. It's quite long right now. I can do like a Conan O'Brien thing almost with it. Well, anyway, thanks for coming out. I do want to say something right up front. I got to give a big shout out. Big shout out. Oh, that's weird. There we go. Big thanks to Jose K6HZR. He sent me, or actually, he ooh, look at that with that background. Ooh, that's cool. He hand-delivered me some IPAs from New Mexico. New Mexico, if you haven't been, by the way, everybody, New Mexico's got some pretty good beers. This is a La Cumbre IPA, elevated IPA. It's supposed to be pretty good. And he hand-delivered it for me, so thank you, Jose. I appreciate it. We're going to open this right up front because we got a lot to talk about, and I just want to get into it. So, the beer, I mean. Also the content, but thanks again for coming out. I appreciate it. We will be doing a Discord after chat as we normally do on Saturdays, so this gives everybody the reminder to go maybe set up your Discord if you haven't. Discord is like an IRC chat, but kind of upgraded for, I guess, today's technology. It includes a voice chat, and on that voice chat, we had 100 people on last week, and we answer your questions about ham radio. We usually got a lot of smart people that usually show up and help out because I can't know everything. There's no way. And so if you've got questions, we'll try to answer it. And the best way to do that is in the after chat. So consider joining us on the Discord, which is like a chat room kind of thing, and a voice chat. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate it. Okay, got a couple of slides to go through before we dive right in here. Hey, Tim, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. All right, so the podcast is out. The cheapest Ham Shack build is the topic of discussion, but we go into more than that, that's for sure. We spent a lot of time talking about the FCC. We do a drink review, which I think I'm not sure what we actually drank that day. It was a Grimus beer. Thank you, Grimus, by the way, for that. And the one before that, no power, no internet, no cell service, now what, is still pretty popular. So make sure you go check that out. Big news, though, ICOM has released a series of firmware updates for some of their radios, including the 705, which I had downloaded and installed in like 10 minutes. And I did it while I was setting up the live stream. So they make the firmware updates really easy. There's a number of features that it adds, which we'll be talking about in a future video. And yeah, very cool for them to do that. Felix, thank you very much for the super chat. And James K sent a haircut fund donation. So thank you. I will add that to the haircut fund. I guess that just goes to my wife because she gets to the point where she's just like, come on, we got to go to the backyard, and she just buzz cuts like the sides off of it and stuff like that. And it also includes a manual for updating if you do end up going the route here to get access to the firmware for your 705, 7300, or 9700. You can check it out there. Next week, January 30 and 31st is Winter Field Day, so make sure you get your portable comms up and running if you're choosing to do portable, which is kind of a recommendation on how you would run Winter Field Day. It's definitely how I will try to do it, but I'm in California, Southern California specifically, so winter is a bit different for me than a lot of the rest of the country, and I appreciate that. All right, so what are we talking about? So we're talking about a Chinese handheld radio made by Wouxun, and we've got Odell here setting up the slide here. Let me pull this up right now. So here we go. Here it is. Thanks, Odell, for setting that up. If anybody gets that reference, post in the chat. This is the Wouxun KG-UV9D Mate. It is a dual-band VHF radio, UHF radio, cross-band repeat capable, dual receive, simultaneous dual receive, 999 memory channels, simultaneous scanning, meaning the A and the B channel, the dual receive, it will do both at the same time. So you can receive on both channels at the same time. It advertises a 10-watt output on VHF and an 8-watt output on UHF. We're going to test that. And it runs for about $149.99 on Amazon. There are many versions of this radio, and they have slightly different variations on the name. We're going to talk about that and try to explain what the deal is with it, because I don't get it. Well, I do get it, and we'll talk about it, but it's an interesting radio. I've had it since Black Friday, actually, when I picked it up, and it's good. Let me just give you that right up front as of doing a video review live here. It's a good radio. I've enjoyed it so far. I've made a ton of actual simplex contacts with it. I don't know if that's the help of the 10-watt output. I don't know, but it's pretty good. Kevin Morgan, thank you for the beer fund, and Ham Radio 2.0. Hey, thank you for the sticker. Look at the little sticker, the animated GIF. That's pretty cool. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Oh, that's too early. We'll get to that. So you've got the Wouxun KG-UV9P, the KG-UV9T, the KG-UV9D Plus, and then the KG-UV9D Mate. What's the difference? And there's not that much difference to begin with. The UV9P, the UV9T, and the UV9D Mate all have a 3,200 milliamp hour battery. They claim to have a 10-watt output on VHF, 8 watts on UHF. The Mate and the KG-UV9D offers the orange faceplate that you've seen, and the KG-UV9P has a different front panel. That's really the major differences. The UV9D Plus has a 2,000 milliamp hour battery and a 5-watt max output. So effectively, it doesn't really matter. It really pays no mind into which one you go with. So there was already some of you that are saying, hey, I have one of these versions of it. Should I go get this other model? Unless you need a backup, not really. You don't need to upgrade to any one of these from any one of the other ones, because they're all good radios that you don't really need to do anything on that. So who got it? David Bernstad got it. The tip just got me there, Odell. Absolutely. All right, so I mentioned this is potentially an FT-60 killer, and I'll leave this up to you to decide. By the way, the FT-60 was my first ham radio. I love that radio. I know there's a ton of people that are out there right now that are picking up FT-60s, and they're still made. They're still a good radio. Getting a little long in the tooth. I have a feeling that if they haven't been discontinued, it's probably coming along in a little bit. But I wanted to cover the comparison points right up top before we start looking at the mate. I'm just going to call it the mate. I can't remember all these letters and numbers. So the Mate has 999 channels. The FT-60 advertises over 1,000, which is true. They both have a lot. They have very similar wide banded receive capability. The Mate gets a bit lower, and all of that Wouxun line goes a bit lower, starting at 76 megahertz, and will go up to 965. The Yaesu will also go relatively low to 108, and then they'll both go up to about a gig. In the case of the Mate, it's about 965 megahertz. The programming cable is included with the Wouxun depending on which model you get off of Amazon. And I wanted to show why this is so confusing and why I made that slide to say, hey, don't worry about it. If you find one you like, just get it. So here are here's 3 of them right here. 149, 139, 175. The 175 has a whole bunch of accessories, but if you keep going down, here's one that it's the UV9T Plus with the programming cable, the cigarette jack for power, and it's the T model, the 9T model, so it gets the full 10-watt output and the 3,200 milliamp battery. So you get a programming cable for roughly $10 if you're comparing it to the 9D Plus or the other 9D Plus. There are a ton of these on Amazon, wherever else. By the way, there is a link to Amazon if you want to go directly to it. Check that out. It's kind of an odd thing that there's so many different product lines, and I'm wondering if it's because they were designed to be sold in different markets. I'm not 100% sure, because with a lot of these radios, you can just kind of handle it with firmware and kind of be done with it. So I don't know. Anyway, funky stuff. But it's still pretty good. So back to the slides. The Wouxun, at least some of them, the Mate in particular, references a 10-watt output VHF, 8-watt output UHF. The FT-60 is 5-watt output. The Wouxun Mate will do crossband repeat, which is a pretty handy thing to have in a handheld. It has a 3,200 milliamp battery versus the Yaesu FT-60 has a 1,400 milliamp battery. The difference here, the FT-60 has a battery tray that you can buy to run AA batteries. The AA battery ran FT-60 will get the same power output as the nickel metal hydride battery that it comes with stock. So going to something like AA's in an off-grid situation, or you only have access to rechargeable AA's, will work just fine with the FT-60, and it will put out maximum power. If you had something like that with the Wouxun, which I don't believe they make a battery tray, you would get decreased power output out of it. So keep that in mind. There are a number of programming memory groups that you can create with the Wouxun, whereas the FT-60 does not have that. Also, I think I forgot to mention it. Did I? Dual receive. I did. The Wouxun Mate has 2 A and B channels, call them. The FT-60 has a 1-channel readout. So that's something I really look for in a handheld, is that it has an A and a B channel. And ideally, there are 2 separate receive channels, like 2 separate receivers that can go on at the same time. It's a nice way to go. Very loud speakers on both radios. Oh, hey, thank you, Evan, for the super chat. Adding the Mate to my cart with a slap chop and ShamWow. That's right. I wanted to go for that the QVC vibes today on that opening. I was bored, and I had Procreate on the iPad, and I was drawing. I was like, yeah, we'll have a little fun with it. The FM radio works great as well on the Wouxun, and the advantage with the FM is that it operates on a non-use to the A channel. So you leave your repeater on that you're listening to on the A channel, and it will flip over to the FM radio so you to listen to the AM radio. And then when there's activity on the repeater, it will cut back in to the radio, and you can listen to the repeater, which is really nice. So you don't like block out the entire receiver like the Baofangs do. So you can be listening to radio, and it will auto switch when somebody comes onto the repeater or comes onto the frequency you're listening to, which is a nice feature. Now, a lot of people have talked about the use of satellites with these radios. And Sean, when we had him on the show, he's been on twice now. It came up multiple times, I believe. And I'm throwing it over to the WD9EWK over on the QRZ forums. I grabbed a little snippet here, and the link is in there. But if you search for, the UV, the KG-UV9D and satellite, you'll find the post on Google. There isn't a simple answer, since the answer would be yes or no. Yes for UV FM satellites like AO55 or the Fox 1 FM satellites, but no for the VU FM satellites like SO50. Just like the original KG-UV9D, along with many other HTs that have come on the ham equipment market over the years, the UV9D Plus just can't keep the 2-meter transmitter from desensing the 70-centimeter receiver when working VU-FM satellites like SO50. And I added the asterisk that the first character is the uplink of the satellite. So when they are saying a VU satellite, they mean VHF out of your radio, the uplink frequency, and UHF downlink, the downlink frequency, what the satellite is transmitting. That's what they're referring to. So keep that in mind. It's probably not the best solution for doing FM satellites, but it's pretty good for lots of other things that we're going to talk about right now. So let's throw it back over here to the wide desk, and we're going to take a little look-see around it and have some fun. Thanks for joining me, by the way. I have to redo my my stage here. I got a funky piece of kit that I'm having a bit of fun with that was allowing me to do this turntable thing. So here's the UV mate. We'll get that off of here. I've got to take off the antenna, and we're going to BNC because this is going to be a lot easier for testing. For those of you that were curious what my table, how I did the turning, this is a robot turntable that you can do different video shots with, and it connects to your phone. So that's very cool. Okay, so first up, I think we're going to do the power test. We need to know if this actually puts out the power that it says it does. So I've got myself a power meter here. This is going into a dummy load. This is not the best power meter, but we're going to get close. Ultimate Doomer, thanks for the super chat. And he is saying, the output of my Wouxun isn't 10 watts, it's more like 4 to 5. One of my buddies got it. Mismarketing. Well, we're gonna take a look at that right now. By the way, here is the Cradle. It does come with a Cradle on the one I got. All right, so we are on. Let's go to channel 1. I'll clip in here. Okay. What's the best way to do that? Yeah, we'll do it like that. All right. Okay. We are in high power, channel 1. That is... Oh, interesting. Hold on. Let's make sure I've got everything covered here. Let's make sure I've got... Okay, double checking all the connections. Whoa. Wait a second. That was more than I expected. Okay, so I'm going into a fairly stout dummy load. And this is in the middle. I have it set to 15 watts. And we are set for power. So we're looking at the top. I have it for 15. So I'll even dial this in a little bit more. Ooh, come on. Touchy focus. All right, here we go again. I'm going to PTT. That's pegging it. That's over 10 watts. That's on VHF. Wow. I didn't expect that. I did not expect that. So we're getting more power output than is advertised, it looks like. Let's do that again. Wow. That's the white line. Wow. Okay. Yeah, broken. Send it back. I know it's working, though, because I've used it on Simplex, you know, holding it right against my head. Doing now what I see is 15 watts. This is like one of those old school Buicks that were turbocharged or whatever, and they were supposed to be under a certain power output. What is it, the Grand National? And then everybody got them, and they were like over 200 something. Let's check the SWR. Good point. SWR is real flat. We'll go in there again. Not great, actually, on the SWR, but not horrible. Huh. Well. Yeah, that's a lot of RF exposure on my face. So let's change this over to UHF. I'll do that really quickly here. Okay. Now we'll do another test. We'll go back to power. Well, let's do the SWR just so we're consistent. A little bit higher, but not bad. Okay, here we go. 10 watts. Wow. Yeah, so maybe it's a plus or minus 10% because it's an MFJ meter. Okay, sure. This isn't a service monitor. I appreciate that. We might get better numbers out of a service monitor, but, well, that's more than I expected. Yeah, my dummy load is set to 50 ohms, 1-to-1. It does have adjustments depending on if you're doing 4-to-1. Will Moran with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Wow, finally a Chinese radio that gives you more than you pay for. Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable. I would agree. That's very interesting. Okay, well, I'm glad I did that right up front. All right, I'm going to switch out now. I'm going to take out the power meter. We're going to grab another antenna here. Somewhere is another antenna. There's always antennas somewhere. All right, so let's take a look at this. We're going to walk around just like you would any handheld. It has a PTT button and then 3 programmable buttons. And you can program these from the menu system or from the Chirp software or the RT system software. There's a lot of ways to go with it. Right side has a speaker and mic connection, kind of like a Baofeng. Back side is a battery that connects to a clip instead of the clip connecting directly to the battery. The easy things to note right off front of it is, by the way, this is as bright as it gets, but I have to clarify that I am blasting it with a ton of light. Like, this is close to daylight that it's seeing right now with all the video lights that I have up right now. Oh, interesting. Good question on the power meter. Okay, yeah, I will do that right now before we go any further. We're going to go back to... What happened? Come on. There we go. We're going to go back to the power meter. Somebody had mentioned put the power meter into the 60-watt mode, which is a really good idea because we don't know technically how high that went.
1, 4, 6, 5, 2, 0.
Okay, we're going to change it to 60. Here we go. Power. Yeah, it's about 15. Yeah, 15. Interesting. Matt asked, so the mountain topper pick was just clickbait. No, the title of the video, it says exactly what the video is on. but I like to put radios in the background. Who wouldn't put radios in their background? Jay Morris, thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on the Retevis RT6 or RT29? I don't have either, buddy, so I don't really have a comment. All right. Okay, so the way this works, and we'll walk around the use of it right now. Basically, you have a band button that switches from the top to bottom. Although this one's being a little funky now. Oh, that's why. Okay, we're good. Anyway. You have a TDR or this is your VFO/memory button. So if you just single click it, it makes it a 1-channel radio versus 2-channel receive. If you hold it down, whichever one is main, it will change from VFO to memory. And it's got a funky way of doing it. So the first way it does is it just gives you a channel readout. So if I start going through channels, it'll say 4 and 5, even though this is also saying 5, which is kind of a pointless gesture. I don't quite understand why some radios do that, but whatever. If you hold it down again, it'll go to frequency mode, and if you hold it again, now it's in a channel mode that actually bases it off of the programming of the radio, the names that you put into the radio. Let's go ahead and turn the volume down on that. That voice can get annoying. So then, there you go. You can cycle through the radio. Your menu system, so interestingly enough, it has what you would call a Baofeng-like menu, where it's opened the menu on the main channel, and then you can use the dial to just slide through the menu options. And there are 61 menu options, and you can just slide right through. But Wouxun has done something kind of interesting, that they've put the most common used memory items right on the buttons. So for instance, if you go to, which one was it? Step. There you go. It'll jump to menu 3. If you wanted to go to squelch, it'll jump to menu 38. So that's a handy way to get to things fast. You just click menu and then whatever it is you're trying to get to. So easy to use there. And exit takes you out of the whole thing, and then you're back. So pretty straightforward in that sense. I did find something interesting that I wanted to demonstrate, and we'll walk through that right now. If you go to, I made a channel in here for airband. So this is the frequency I'm monitoring, which is 135.925. And it knows to cut over to AM. And it does that automatically. And that's actually a part of the menu. If you go into the menu here and you go up to item 54 or 53, yeah, auto AM. If you click on it, you can turn it on and off. So it knows which frequency mode you should be in based off of the space, which generally anything from 108 to 130 something is AM. And then you can also just force it to be AM on or off for receive, which we're going to turn that off for now. Now, there was a comment that I got. By the way, oh no, I'm not on a dummy load anymore. I should switch back for a second. There was a comment that came in that somebody has one of these that allows them to transmit on the airband. I cannot do that. That doesn't work for me. So let's switch over here into the dummy load. And for the sake of making sure we're not doing anything untoward, I'm going to go up to transmit power. We're going to dock it down to low. And we're going to exit. Now, when I key this, it shouldn't key. And that's what it does. It does frequency over. And we got no power output. So just want to keep that in mind. It does seem to come stock without having the MarsCap mod or any modification done to it to allow it to transmit out of band. Nature's Child, airband is not a ham-band. That's right, but this is a wideband receiver, at least for the higher frequencies. So yes, it cannot transmit, which is what I just demonstrated, but it's nice that it does it for monitoring, which is something that a lot of people like to do, is monitor the airband. So now you have the capability to do that. So that's pretty handy in itself. I thought that was pretty cool. Now, in frequency mode, which we are on channel mode right now, let me take it over to frequency mode again. Still channel mode. Okay, now we're in frequency mode. The channels are gone. Here's the scan. Ooh, boy, somebody's right on top of it. Frank's already asking, how fast does it scan? Well, here we go. You hold down scan. So it is now scanning. Now, there are a couple different scan modes. It will, and the one I generally use is scan for some amount of time, and then it will continue on. So it's just going to go. It's going to scan on whatever frequencies. But you notice it's jumped out of the AM band. Bill Holden, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate all you do for us. Thanks a million. 73 from W5JAZ. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. So scanning is not the fastest. I would argue that it is. That's a nice sounding signal. Oh boy, that was a political discussion that we just walked into. We'll let it scan here for a second just so you guys can get an idea. Oh, that's the 435. That's active, so let's just let that scan on by. So if anybody's curious what the activity is like on 2 meters in Southern California, now you know it's quite active. All right, let's do something else here. Let's stop this. So just hit exit. We are in frequency mode. Let's hop over to, and we're doing an out-of-the-box test, right? This is just a brand new out-of-the-box thing. We're going to bring up a FRS frequency. 4, 6, 2, 5, 6, 2, 5. Whoa. Do that again. 4, 6, 2, 5, 6, 2. Okay. Let's go back on the dummy load. It does seem to it seems to want to take off the BNC connector, though. Maybe it's just me because I'm screwing around with it so much, but okay, here we go. Oop. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Let's see. So power output, we've set it to 60. It's on high power. And it's transmitting. It does transmit on FRS, it seems. This is into a dummy load. And so we're trying not to break any rules there. We were in a dummy load, just to remind everyone. Interesting. So that's a little tidbit I didn't expect exactly. Boy, this thing's full of surprises. This thing is really interesting. So what we'll do, I do have the Chirp software loaded, and I do have the programming cable, which you saw earlier. I will hopefully be able to show you how to set this so that it won't transmit on FRS or GMRS, or just receive your choice on how you want to do it. But yeah, that was not expected. A couple of other things. So let's say let's get off of this frequency. 1, 4, 6, 5, 2, 0. All right. So we're back to good old simplex. Oh, super chat. Thank you from Jeremy Chase. 762, buddy. Appreciate that. So to save a channel, and there's a couple of ways of doing this, but if you go up to, I found the easiest way is that you slide up. There we go. Okay, so you've got a couple of things you can add here. Where is it? Okay, so transmit CTC. And then you can set your CTC tone. So this would be if you're setting up a repeater. So we don't want that. So we'll go back to off. Okay, let's go back to menu. Let's go to, where's the offset? Did I miss it? There's the offset. And then you can set your offset. We don't want offset, actually. So step was what I wanted. That's item 3. That's your step frequency for scan. No, that's not what I wanted. There's always one thing I forget how to do on the live stream. And they never use like normal names for any of this stuff, so fun. Well, anyway, I'll show you how to do it in a second when we go to the manual, because we are going to talk about that. The last part, though, is you just come down to memory channel, hit the button, and you can just set whatever you want by sliding into it and hitting the memory. So if I go to, doesn't matter, we're going to change this, but let's just lock that in. So now if you go to memory 6, it sets it to channel 6, which is the one we just set. There you go. Okay, so is this truly dual receive? Well, let's show you. So we're going to start this scanning on the top. I do want it in memory mode, though. Okay, good. This other one, I'm going to change that to memory mode as well. Okay, and I'm going to, let's see. There we go. And I'm going to start scanning. Now I'm going to band up, and I'm going to start scanning. So now I'm scanning on receiving? So now I'm scanning on both and displaying them in different ways. And yes, it does have different scan groups. So you can change that scan group as needed. Saving in memory is 30. Yes, no, I know how to save in memory. I was looking for the step or the offset for the repeater, which I think I was on, but I usually am just looking for one that's like minus or positive, you know. There was a question in the chat, does this do airband from Donald Duck? It does, but it's non-transmit. It's just receive. So what you could hypothetically do is have 2 scan groups, one for like your local community, and then one for your local repeaters, whatever, and you could scan at any time between them, which is pretty handy. So yes, it does dual receive, and it's a proper dual receive. So I am receiving both of these at the same time. In fact, let's... So we're receiving the top. Let's scan this guy a little more and find something. So that's DMR over the top of human voice. So if you really want to screw yourself up.
Scan, stop. Scan, begin, scan, stop.
Put up my old base station antenna up on the balcony rail here, and looks like I'm hitting my local wind system repeater, so that makes me happy.
Yay, wind system.
Evening for a ride, though.
All right, so here's a good opportunity to test this one out because they're talking slow enough that we can probably make this work. So I'm going to turn off the, I'm going to get off of this one.
138, 137.
I'm going to go back to main. Where is it? There we go.
Yeah, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area.
134, 133.
It's
134.
So we are listening to the FM radio. I'm not going on a station because I don't want to get demonetized for playing music. But we'll go back to that station now.
138.
And it mutes it.
as much as we don't like the cold, it is nice and right here. Anyways, well, my friend just pulled up here, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. Great have a short queue, so we can go. Thanks for
Good question from Christiana. Let's take Christiana's question. Thanks for the super chat, Christiana.
call sign already.
Okay, so she's asking about if I can monitor 388.95. And let's turn off the FM radio. By the way, you push that side button there. This side button, and it turns off the radio. And you can program whatever you want on the top there. So we're going to go to 388.95. So yes, you can monitor that frequency, but it looks like there's nothing on it this time. Thanks again, Jose. Okay, so let's throw it up on the computer, and I'll show you what some of this looks like in Chirp, because there's a lot of settings that are just really easy to deal with directly on Chirp, which I've found to be always a better solution for a lot of stuff. Before I do that, though, let me turn this off for a second. So it does come with a charging cradle. I bought the programming cable. You don't have to do that depending on where you get it off online. And it comes with a Wouxun antenna, which, by the way, I was able to make cross-city simplex calls with. And that's, I don't know, call it 5 miles or so. Not bad from inside my home. The person I was talking to has a very, very good antenna system, though, for their radio. So that tells you a little bit about it. Now, before I made this video, Jason, Ham Radio 2.0, did an unboxing and kind of walkthrough of this radio, and he has something that I don't have, and I'm a little jealous of him. When I pulled my power brick out of the box, no USB connector. So the one he had was a USB connector that connects to the power wart or the wall wart that allowed you to kind of USB charge the radio in the back if you just plugged it to like some USB power brick. I don't have that, which is a bummer because that would be a preferred situation. So I'm not sure what that is. I actually have to talk to Jason about that. I was getting ready for the stream and I was searching. I was like, oh, I didn't even look if there's people out there that already reviewed this. And of course he had already looked at it. So I got it I think we got it at the same place. So I'm a little bummed out about that. There was a question in the chat, is it APRS? No, it is not APRS. This is really more of a high-end Baofeng replacement. It does a different set of things that Baofengs do. It does a lot of the same things that Baofeng does, but this does it much better. Dual receive, two-channel receive, two-channel scan. It does crossband repeat. It does all kinds of stuff. So yeah, in fact, somebody just asked, Miro, you said Hala, really 10 watts? No, actually 15 watts. Mine goes up higher than the one what it says on the box. So I don't know what's up with that. All right, let's get her on over here. So I'm taking the programming cable. And it goes all the way up to like 900 something megahertz. But now, receiving only. It transmits only within VHF, UHF ham bands. It's completely legal to have a radio, all in one unit, that receives outside the ham bands, but it can only receive legally outside there. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Let's throw it over to Chirp. Okay, so we're on Chirp now. We're going to do a quick download from radio. In fact, let's do this a different way so that you guys can see what I'm doing all. Otherwise, this is going to get confusing for you. So we're cloning from the radio. You don't need two chat rooms, I'm assuming. Okay. So kind of hard to see because it's a 4K monitor, but if you go to the top, your configuration settings are kind of like your standard stuff for like Roger Beep, your transmit timeout, your PTT caller ID, which I've never used anything like that, so I find that a bit meaningless in the settings aspect. A lot of that stuff you don't need, but I guess some of you may need that. A specialty case may need that. There is your backlight setting. I have mine set to always on because I'm doing a demonstration. Christiana, thank you for the super chat. I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly, but my wife is Chinese, and she's pronounced it to me, and I sound pretty similar to it. She speaks Chinese. Wouxun. Wouxun. That is my understanding of how it's pronounced. Okay. What I ended up spending the most time on was the side button programming. So let's move that over there. Thank you. So the P1 button, which is the top left side button, you have a couple of options. It's just off, a call ID, R alarm, don't use that. SOS, don't use that. Leave it on SF transmit. What that allows you to do is transmit on the B channel. So if you've ever used a UV82 Baofeng, transmit on the B channel allows you to transmit on whatever the lower frequency is on the A and B side. That's what I have selected. On the middle button, I have left it to lamp because I love lamp. Actually, I hate lamp. And then on the last P3 button, there isn't much else you can do with it, so I just leave it on call ID. Admin functions, I leave those alone. So let's take a look at A and B. When they say area A and area B settings, they are talking about the A and B channel. The A channel is the wide receive channel. The B channel is a standard VHF, UHF receive channel. So anything you try to do with this radio on the B channel will only be locked to the VHF, UHF space. So under that, you have a couple of options. You can say AM modulation enabled on this, and then it will switch over as needed for the 150 and higher. For 200, 300, 400, and above 700, it will do the same. And here you can set things like what FM width you want, wide or narrow. If you want a frequency shift, you can set it to plus or minus just at default for the entire band. And it does the same for all the major bands that it runs that is, part of the ham bands. Specifically VHF, UHF. So FM broadcast, you can load up a whole series of channels if you want that. There's only one I care about, which is 91.5 FM in my area. And caller IDs, there's a couple of things you can do there, but not a ton. Now, on the import side, we won't go into that because I have videos on that as well, but it's just like you would expect. You would query from some kind of location like radio reference. I don't think that works anymore. Let me see. Does it work? No, I'm no longer a subscriber. Okay. Import from repeater book. It is then. So you can go in here and say California, for instance. By the way, everybody who's tagged me recently and asked, hey, send me what you have programmed so I can do what you're doing with the radio. Everyone's going to be different. VHF, UHF radios are and repeaters are only going to be useful in the close-in area that you live in. Your line of sight location is all they're going to be effective in. Super chat from Ethan. Does it have D-Star? Laugh out loud. It does not. Always like Wouxun radios. Used one in the PNW rain for a year doing SAR, and it kept on ticking. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't mention this up front. There is a repeater owner. There's a repeater owner that I know. He helped me out a couple of times on my house. I had some issues. He came out. He's a contractor. K9KAO, for those of you that know that call sign. And he swears by all of these radios. He loves them. He absolutely loves them. James K, do you really love the lamp, or are you just saying it because you saw it? I just said it because I saw it, James. My wife loves lamp. I'm team don't love lamp. Team hate lamp. Team hashtag hate lamp. County, I am in Los Angeles. Why you make me do this, though? There it is. Nope. One down. There it is. And we'll do 2 meters. So same kind of... What? Well, I'm not doing a review of Chirp, but that was not as expected. So let's do proximity query. There we go. Cerritos 2 meters. Good. Do that. Fine. Okay. Never mind. I'm not messing with this. Anyway, so we set something. We'll upload to radio. COM4. By the way, that red cable, the one that's on Amazon, works on my Windows 10 computer without having a what is it called? Any drivers or anything connected. Now Leia is talking, or who's talking? Shegu. Yeah, Shegu is for Zygu. Am I saying Shegu or am I saying Wouxun? Have I been saying it wrong this whole time? That'd be my mistake. Oh, good question from Zach. Does the Baofeng programming cable work? I don't have one here right now. I can't test it. Can you interface it with a signal link? If you have the cabling for it, sure. Okay, so I can disconnect her now. Will RT Systems cable work with Chirp? Yes, but probably not the other way around. You cannot use a non-RT Systems cable with RT Systems software. Let's throw it over to the wide desk. Let's take a little look. We'll put them back up here. So yeah, that's kind of I almost said it again. The Wouxun. If I was saying it that whole time, I apologize. Let's see. Let's throw it over to the Zoom, see if anybody wants to hop in. Real late call for the Zoom if anybody wants to hop in. And ideally ask about the radio or have questions on the radio, and we may be able to test it live. So I will take the link here, the linky poo. And if we get any joiners, then we'll have a little chat. But so as far as to wrap up my thoughts on it, would I buy this at $150? Yes, this is a good radio. This is a good radio to step up from a Baofeng. Absolutely. If you are wondering if you should get this or an FT-60, it's kind of a toss-up to me. To be honest, the FT-60s are getting a little old. I love the FT-60. It was my first radio. I still use mine every once in a while. It's really, really good. But you know, you'd have to consider what it is you're planning on doing with radio. Let me pin that, make it easier for people. Hey, we got Zach joining us. And let's let in, we'll go to Eddie. And do unmute, and if you can, turn on your video, please. I'd appreciate that. Yeah. Josh went in. My wife is commenting on my thoughts. Josh went in expecting it to be a not good radio, and Josh was very impressed. Eddie, are you there? Are you on voice? Okay, we'll try to add Eddie, or Steve. I mean, someone will have a mic that works.
Oh,
Zach, you there?
Or Steven.
Yeah, give me
Yeah,
just
either.
a second. Messaging him.
There we go. Now I can hear you. Can you hear me? You got to mute the stream in the background. I can. Okay, there we go. How about now? And you're not being heard on the stream yet.
I thought I was unmuted.
There we go. Now we got you sorted out. Okay, who do we got? I'm looking at Steve. So Steve, can you ready to give your thoughts or question?
Yeah, I was just watching and thought I'd flip over and kind of listen to the questions that others had. I'm new to radio. I just got a license this last Tuesday, I think it was, and just logged in to listen to the questions so I can learn something.
Cool. Well, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Zach, you're also on the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Right on, right on. Who else do we got here? Let's see. Steve's okay. Let's potentially bring in another person. RQ, thank you for the support of the hobby. Have a beer on me. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. That is well appreciated. Will Moran, hey, thank you for the super chat. That's a big one. Yeah, I have a problem. I'm having a problem with Chirp now. When I get my repeaters off Repeater Book through Chirp, all I get is a 6-meter repeater when I was all on 20 or 70 centimeters repeaters. Near me, I don't care if it was the software update. I have found that if you go to the proximity or the political, you have to do one or the other, and then it seems to work better. Okay, Chrissy, are you in the chat? Do you have a question? Or Petro? Petro, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a camera or anything?
Oh yeah, I do actually. Give me a sec. I don't use them very often. There you go. You see me?
Yeah. How's it going, man? All
Good,
right. What's up?
thanks. I think just wanted to comment on the HT. I'm Papara on the YouTube.
Oh,
chat, so-
cool. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, that's
sorry.
me.
Are you on Discord? Are you on Discord by chance?
No, I'm not. I've never used Discord actually. So
I was gonna say, if you join Discord and you send me the link on Discord, you send one of the admins and post it in the live stream, it'll pop up on the show, so that way
Okay.
people can see it.
Okay, because I tried pasting it a couple times and I guess YouTube drops it. I guess for spam purposes. But this afternoon, actually, I tried the AM transmit with some friends. I was 20 kilometers from where they were situated. They were up on the mountain in the Montreal area where I live.
Oh,
And I was in the lower elevation. We were talking simplex rather well on FM. And we tried on 2 meters. 440 was better, I guess, because the rubber duck is better wavelength for the 70 centimeter band.
okay. I need to clarify something. So I misunderstood your statement then. I thought you were saying you could transmit in the airband space on AM.
No. On ham bands.
Yes.
In AM.
I
Yes.
could do that too. That also
Okay.
works.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
yes,
Yeah.
that does work. So anybody,
good.
interestingly enough, I don't know why it does this. It transmits on FM and VHF, UHF, but you can flip it over and it will transmit on AM. on
Right.
on VHF UHF, which is really funky. And I tested it on my 705, and it does work.
Yeah.
What a weird feature that is. So that is
It
good
is.
point.
It's
Yeah.
unexpected. Okay, so my friend had the 879D. He was up on the mountain of Mount Royal in the Montreal area, and we were able to hear each other. It wasn't the greatest, I guess. We were both using compromised antennas, and AM does work differently than FM.
Yeah.
A lot less forgiving than AM is. So we're gonna retry. We're gonna build some bobtail curtain antennas with some better gain, because I would imagine the wattages are probably halved on AM, probably closer to maybe 5 or 6 watts. I'm guessing.
In fact, I'll toy around with it right now. We'll test it on AM. Yeah, keep talking. I'll get it set up over here.
So that's what we're gonna retry again, maybe next week, a couple of weeks. Family and kids permitting, but we were able to copy each other rather well on AM. It was I would say like maybe a 4, 5. Not the best, because there was a lot of interference. AM is prone to more interference than AM and than FM is, obviously.
Now
but it worked rather well.
It's off of menu item 54, right?
That's right.
And then you turn it on and set it. Yep. And then it actually shows up. It shows up as AM. I'll throw it over on the screen, but it shows up on the lower corner there. In fact, why don't we throw it over to Dan? How's it going, Dan? You're in the chat now, and thanks, Ethan, for joining as well. I'm going to set the power meter up and see if I can test the power output. What's going on, Dan?
Hey, how's it compared to an FT-60?
Well, the FT-60 has digital. This does not. This is purely an analog radio. So for that, it's going to be a bit different. Oh, you know what? What I didn't mention was battery output or battery life. The battery life on this is fantastic. It's very, very good.
Really?
Yes. So here we go. We're on. I'm on AM. I'm on some crazy frequency, but I'm into a dummy load right now. So we're gonna key up. Wow. 10 watts output on AM. Now,
that's nice.
I am using an MFJ device. This isn't I don't have a service monitor or something more expensive to do better testing. I will in the future, but that's on VHF UHF AM is a little crazy. This is super hipster. This is a hipster radio now. I'm calling it. It's a hipster handheld.
Because usually on AM the TX power is halved versus like what we got on SSB or FM. This is just amazing, actually.
Which, yeah, but that's if you're comparing it to single sideband. So it's FM though. Really? Okay. So I don't know. But maybe that's more to do with my test equipment than anything else. Let me throw it back over here. All right, Dan, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, a question or anything today?
My question was just on the comparison with the FT-60.
Oh, right. Sorry. Is there something that you're looking at the FT-60 for?
Well, I was looking when I got the opportunity to get one. It was a price consideration. I got mine for $200. Got everything minus the charging cradle.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a whole lot of people doing digital around here that's compatible with the FT-60. So
I like the FT-60 fine because it's in a price range that I think is kind of like the next step. But to be honest, this is a really good radio for the price. I think $150, you get possibly one of the better performing VHF UHF analog radios on the market for that price. And I've long been arguing for better radios in this middle tier. There's not enough radios in the middle tier. There's a lot of really cheap radios, and then there's a lot of more expensive radios that are really, really good. They're worth their value, but they need to be more in the middle for people that are starting out in the hobby and they're looking for like a step up from a Baofeng, which people should look at.
Right.
Did you go with the 70? Did you buy it already?
It was a gift for Christmas.
Okay.
I've had my license for 8 years, and best radio I've had is a Baofeng.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, it's definitely a step up. It's definitely a step up over the Baofeng.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
RT.
actually able to connect to some repeaters locally, so I'm real happy about that.
Yeah. Okay, so it does work for you at least on analog, so you're good in that sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. All right, so RT Brinkerhoff, thank you for the super chat. Felix Farquharson? Boy, I'm sure I butchered that, and I apologize profusely. Sorry. Okay, so the Zoom chat is up, but I think we're going to probably close it out here. I just wanted to do a little bit of talking there at the end. So hopefully, and Dan, thanks for hopping on. Look like he's gone. Okay. Ethan, did you have a comment?
What is the battery capacity in milliamps?
3,200.
That's basically the same as the 878, right?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, there was some comments asking what I would compare the two. So I would rather operate with the Wouxun because it's an analog-only radio, so it's not that trying to front panel program a DMR radio, which is always kind of a pain in the butt. But they're both good. If you were more of a DMR user, the 878 is probably still one of the better, if not best, DMR HTs on the market. But this little Wouxun, it's not little, but the Wouxun's great. It's really nice.
I've liked every one that I've owned, so never really had an issue. In
fact, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it up to my Moby Linked, and I'm going to see if I can get doing some packet with it. Because now that I know it does close to 15 watt output, or somewhere around 10, let's call it, that it does 10 watt output, that's going to be a little bit better for WinLink. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Right on. Zach, anything before I close it out here?
Yeah, I had an initial comment, but I think I might be wrong now talking with Jason Hamilton 2.0. Still going to make it just as an FYI, but don't tweet it as much. I think that the USB version, the power brick they give you is a 12-volt power brick instead of 5-volt.
Okay.
But it looks like the charger might still be able to convert from the 5-volt to 12. But with a lot of Chinese radios that give USB, the DD77 as prime example, the power bricks are 12-volt only. So be careful if you try and plug it into something that you think's USB, because they're just using that as a spare connector they had. It's not actually the USB standard of start at 5 and then work its way up to what it needs. It will just fly whenever you plug it in.
Good point. So you're saying that they may not have like a step-up converter in the charging cradle or anything like that?
I think that is iffy whether they have. Jason says it does. I'm more of the power brick that comes with the USB version. Don't plug that into anything else.
Yeah, I'm looking at my charging cradle, and it's saying 12-volt input.
Yeah, but
so I don't know what that means. And it feels like there's nothing in this, so it doesn't feel like there's a step-up converter. So I think it just takes in 12. Well, maybe, because it says it takes in 12 and it steps on it to 8.4. So maybe there is.
Prime example with the GD77. You get a USB, if my thing will focus, to one of those barrel connectors. But this USB is 12 only, and it just hammers out 12. So it'll fly whatever you plug in, if you plug in anything but the GD77.
Timothy Harper. It does, yeah. Timothy Harper makes an interesting comment in the chat. You have dual squelch adjustments, one for each VFO. Don't know why you'd need that, but that's pretty cool. It's kind of quirky. It does a lot for what you're paying. So yeah, I'll leave it to you all to decide if it's something that you're interested in. But I paid for mine. I bought it, and I like it. It's probably going to replace some of my radios that are the analog only radios, which yes, that's primarily what I do with radio. Analog repeaters are kind of still my jam because I'm in Southern California and I'm spoiled with really good repeaters. So let's see. It's Petro, right? Is it Petro? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Thanks for hopping on, man, and thanks for your comments on that. And I apologize that we couldn't do the URL, but we're going to go to the after chat right now. So if you join us on Discord, you can post the link there, and I'll take a look.
Sure. Just one extra comment. If anybody wanting to buy the radio and they're on the fence, totally worth it. I mean, I had to spend the night on the couch for it. When my wife saw that I got on the radio,
Mhm.
And it was worth the night on the couch for having the new toy.
Well, there you go.
Thanks.
You might have sold some people on that one with your personal experience. All right, guys, thanks for hopping on here. I'm gonna close it out. Thanks for hopping onto the Zoom.
Thanks.
All right, very good. Well, yeah, we are gonna head over to the Discord, so please consider joining us over there. I'm gonna be playing around with the 705 with the new firmware. I'm very excited to get that loaded. It seems like it's gonna do some interesting things if you do digital modes. You're going to have presets for your different digital modes. You can just click a button and boom, it switches everything over. Also, there's an access point mode. So much like we do with the Raspberry Pi, where we put it into access mode, where you can connect tablets and laptops and whatever to it, the 705 is going to do that now. So we'll technically be able to both control and listen to the audio off of the Wi-Fi. That's pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, I want to say a big thank you to all my friends over on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support. The Patreon Picks episode, or Patron Picks episode, is going to be coming up soon, and the vote's probably going to go out tomorrow. Every month, I let the patrons pick on what topic we'll be talking about. We do a monthly newsletter, and there's stickers and some other stuff that I put out, as well as some Patreon-only stuff that I do, that videos post there first, all that other fun stuff. But yeah, thank you to all of you on Patreon, because you really help the show move forward. Thanks to all of you, though, for watching, and even giving a thumbs up means a lot, because that tells YouTube that this content is something that you like and that other people should see it and maybe be in front of them. So thank you for that if you do that tonight. Will Moran says, all right, I'll see you at the Discord after chat. 73 from KI5HHW. Yeah, Discord after chat's going to be fun tonight, hopefully. Please consider jumping over there. It is always a lot of fun. And yeah. Oh, somebody's talking about getting kicked to the couch. Where is it? Look, honey, I bought you a new couch. Has a beer fridge, super recline massager. You bought a new radio, didn't you? I need a place to sleep tonight. Yes and yes. So link is in the chat if you want to join us on the Discord. And, that runs for well over an hour in all cases, and we have a lot of fun trying to answer your questions. We do our best. I think I saw Mike K at MRD. He's usually in the after chat. He's kind of great with antennas. And we also get Adam, K6ARK. He's around. Jason might be around too. I saw him in the live chat, so we'll see. And he has one of these radios. And a lot of other people have these radios, and again, they're all pretty much the same. So it's don't get crazy about getting the Mate specifically. Any one of these radios is really good, and I support it. So, and thanks to the Brew Crew. Thank you very much for the support, and thank you everybody for the super chats and everything tonight. Just a big thank you all around. I really appreciate just all the activity amateur radio is getting, not just on my channel, but everywhere. That's all good for the hobby, and it means a lot to me. It means that, it's not that we're trying to manipulate you to get into ham radio. I think we're all just really passionate about you finding ham radio, and that it's a really amazing hobby, and we're glad you made it, because we think it's awesome, and we want you to get engaged with it, get on the air, and have fun. How do I open the Discord page? So you take the link that Zach has posted on the Discord. You just take the link to Discord, or if you go in the video description, it says Discord. It's a URL. You can join from your phone or your computer. And that's it. Okay, with that, I'll say 73 to everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. And now I just time how long I gotta wait before I cut it. Patreon is in the description, Monkey Man, for the video. It is Chasing Full Draw is asking, is it called After Chat on Discord? It's called Livestream. If you scroll down to the bottom, the Livestream chat is towards the bottom. And there's a text chat, hashtag text chat, and a hashtag voice chat. You can join, click on both of those. All right, I'll see you.